JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 4th of August 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which I believe you can find it useful. So let's jump into the charts. Just as always, the first one I'm going to talk about is Nikkei 225, and look at this. I mean, beautiful hold up here near this hurdle. I talked about this and I said, look, I mean, maybe we could be forming somewhat of a range here. Maybe, you know, if we want to go lower, then a drop below the 200-day EMA would still be needed. This area provided fantastic support. This 27,524 level, we rebounded and we pushed higher, and now this 28,015 territory, which I mentioned before as well. I said that, look, I mean, if you want to go higher, then we need to see a break through this barrier first, so that it would confirm a forthcoming higher high. And this is exactly why, because look, I mean, at the moment we're stalling here, or should I say we stalled already here, and the next question is, can we see a breakout here to the upside? Well, at the moment, on one hand, we have ourselves a little bit of a range here. On the other hand, maybe, depending on how we're going to look at it, let's say if we're going to look at this picture from somewhere around here, from around the 15th maybe of the July, maybe this could be seen as a pole or something like that. So in order, what I'm referring to is maybe this could be a bullish indication here. In general, it does look like a bullish indication, because whenever we have something like this, so for example, if whenever we stall, enter a range or something, like a channel, a falling and a rising channel or something like that, we always look at the prevailing trend. The prevailing trend was to the upside before entering that formation. In this case, the trend was to the upside, and in a way there is a decent chance that we could see a breakout to the upside. However, we've seen such things happening in the opposite way. That's why we always wait for a confirmation break. So if we do get this push through that 28,015 territory, somewhere around there, and we see the index staying above it, then yeah, we will go a little bit to the upside. Not dragging this one way too much to the upside. Initially only aiming for that 28,338 territory, not level but territory, and then yeah, we'll kind of go from there. The ASX 200, just a quick one here. So yeah, we are seeing this index still trading above this upside line. We had an attempt today to move above that 6,981 level. We did move above it, but we failed to stay above it. So that, of course, creates a bit of a problem here for the bulls, of course. However, they're not giving up yet, because they're still trading above this upside line taken from the low, the 15th of July. So in other words, for now we are just observing this one, staying cautiously bullish on all this. But yeah, let's see how this is gonna play out, guys. Now then, again, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because again, this is just the same as I've mentioned before. So yep, the downside scenario, we still need to see a break of this upside line, a drop below the 6,920 territory, and then yeah, we could go further south. I need to make a small adjustment here because I just noticed that in the description I have not changed it to Shanghai Composite. So yeah, there we go. I think I've changed it now. So because the next one will be Shanghai Composite, guys. Oh, and before I jump into that one, Uwe, I can see you there in the chat room. Good morning to you too, and good morning to everybody else who's joining in. So thank you very much for your time, guys. Now, coming back to Shanghai Composite. So, of course, we all know what's happening right now. This a bit of a, as I call it a show. However, well, let's see how this show will end. In general, it's it's another political show. But hey, I'm happy that the markets are still, keeping a cool head on their own. Everybody's in the market, who's in the market, are keeping a cool head, because these things happen, and we kind of need to sometimes just see through all this nonsense. But yeah, let's see, of course, how everything's going to continue developing in that area. But at the moment, looking at the Shanghai Composite, it's interesting. It's drifting a little bit to the downside. I think that I think investors took a bit of a a pause here maybe, and you can see that yes, we moved nicely to the downside here, but basically from the technical side, which I mentioned before, I said that look, if we drop below the 3,228 territory here, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and my next target will be this 3,160 territory right there, and boom, perfect hit, perfect touch. This area is now providing good support. So in other words, at the moment, I am just observing the price action. If we want to go further south, well, a drop, and I would like to see the index staying below this area in order to go further south. So at the moment, yeah, that's the game plan, guys. Very straightforward. So let's see how all this is going to play out. A few adjustments have to be made here, I think, because first of all, this highlighted territory, let me just put it somewhere around here. Yep, that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on here. In terms of the upside, well, I would prefer to, I would prefer to see a clear break through this downside line in order to go a little bit higher here, but yeah, again, we'll get to that point if we do see this break. So yeah, continuing to watch the show between this so-called standoff between US and China. Yeah, it's anyway, long story short, at the moment, like I said, looking at this picture here, I would prefer to wait for a clear breakout before, let's say, doing something. So I'm kind of pushing away all the news away and just kind of focusing on the technicals for now. The German index, DAX, okay, looking at this picture, beautiful rebound yesterday. So this is what I talked about. I said that, look, if we stay above this 13,400 territory, somewhere around there, then yes, I will slowly aim for the upside. I will aim for that 13,570 territory, which we managed to perfectly test and reach. So good result here. We also managed to close fractionally above that area. Looking at the cash index for example right now, yep, we are sitting above this barrier here. So in a way, everything's kind of working out according to the plan, I would say. So and I'm still aiming further north here, and my next target is the 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line, and then we'll just go and take it from there. Like I said, I'm not dragging this one way too much to the upside. I'm just going to keep an eye on this area first. In terms of the downside now, previously I talked about this hurdle here, but given that we have shifted strongly away from this 13,400 territory, and it proved to be quite a decent area of support, now this is where I'm going to keep an eye, on the downside. So for example, if we drop below this, then yeah, I will aim for that 21-day EMA, and then I will aim maybe further south here. But again, let's get to that point, and then we'll go from there. I can see there in the chat room, Venality, good morning to you too. Yeah, I hope you're also having a wonderful start of Thursday. Coming back to DXY. DXY, not much activity, just a bit of a doji here. Let's see how this is gonna play out. I'm really interested if this is gonna, get any traction. For example, let's say today or tomorrow. Yes, could be the case, but today, yeah, the only kind of one piece of information that is worth mentioning on the economic calendar is the initial jobless claims. Now, those are going to be quite interesting, for now, I would say keep your eyes on this, but don't expect maybe something crazy here happening unless the headlines start, bombarding us with the news, something surrounding the whole kind of Taiwan thing. So yeah, let's be on the careful side here. Of course, we always leave room for something to come in, but in general, if you just purely go from what we have right now on the agenda here on the economic calendar, then there's probably not much activity, that could do something. But yeah, in terms of in relation to the dollar, but in relation to the pound, I will get to that in a bit. Now, gold. Gold is looking quite interesting. It has rebounded from this upside line taken from the low of the 21st of July. And if you're looking for some lower levels, well, definitely wait at least for a break of this upside line and a drop below the 21-day EMA. Then, yes, of course, we could keep an eye on that 1744 territory. But I would say, looking at how this is shaping up now, if it starts breaking this upside line straight away, then yeah, we could consider maybe a move nicely to the downside. With the upside also, what I've mentioned to you yesterday, if you remember, I said that, look, this 1775 territory is something to watch. Again, this area proved to be quite an important area of resistance, as you can see here. We got held here, and it's just proving there's a good area of a good hold up area. So in a way, the idea is kind of working out okay-ish, because what I said that, look, preferably I would like to see a push through this 1787 territory, but if we already climb above the 1775 zone, yes, I'll slowly aim for the upside again, and then we'll go from there. Now, jumping into WTI oil, guys. There we go. Beautiful move to the downside, guys. And well, as I said before, I was talking about this from the beginning of this week, guys. I said that, look, I'm still quite bearish on this one, and I'm aiming for the downside. But what I needed to see a good drop below this 93.56. Now, don't get me wrong. This might rebound here. Let's say it's oil. Look, it can have a roller coaster ride. So let's put it this way. Overall, I am leaning towards the downside, but I'm not excluding like some short-term reversals. Let's say back to the upside, and especially right now when we're sitting near the lowest point of July here at 90.58. Yep, there we go. So roughly around there. So we're currently sitting near that area. So if you're looking for some further declines, yes, a break through this barrier is needed. Just because, again, like I said, it's oil. Because sometimes when for example, let's put it this way, here, let's say when we had a good move to the downside, let me just grab one of those lines. I think when we had a good move to the downside, let's say here on the 6th of July, we rebounded, then we approached this area again. Let's say it did flirt with it, it acted as a good area of support, although it seemed like, yes, we could go further south, and we were below the 200-day EMA already, so everything was kind of leaning towards the downside. But then again, boom, there we go, we had a strong reversal again. This is where probably the bulls started coming in, and this is where they were taken out again, and then so on and so on. So again, although yes, I'm overall leaning towards the downside, again, don't forget that we could get these surprises. So with this one in particular, I cannot really stress this badly enough. I mean, or um, what's the best expression for that? Like, I really want to stress this out. There we go. Probably this way is going to be better. That always have your stop loss in place on this one, especially because again, this moves sometimes crazy. So and it might, you know, if you're, let's say, counter trading, then, you know, sometimes you might get, you know, taken out easily on this. So be very careful for now, and like I said, I'm leaning towards the downside, but I need that good move below that area, 90.58. We are slightly below it, but I would like to see WTI oil staying below it. Nasdaq 100. Okay, this is a little bit of a, you know, I think it should have been here a little bit. I think, yeah, I've missed out on that one. Apologies. So Nasdaq 100, guys, beautiful move to the upside. Look at this, how well we have moved, and basically the idea is working out. So what I talked about previously, I said that, look, if we, you know, somehow manage to stay above this 12,000 and, well, let's round it up, 900 level, then yeah, we'll go higher and we'll go for this 200-day EMA. The yesterday was just yeah, very nice run here. Nasdaq Composite was the Nasdaq Composite and Nasdaq 100 were the best performers, you know. So yeah, Dow and S&P did gain as well, but Dow was the least performer, you know, and yeah, Nasdaq was in the spotlight. And there we go. We had a good move here towards this 200-day EMA, or I should say in direction of the 200-day EMA. We're not there yet, but we are yeah, we are getting closer to it. So that's my target for now. I am aiming for that 200-day EMA, so let's see if we can reach that. If we fall back below this this area, I will aim for the downside. Now DXY, so yeah, already talked about DXY. Gold, already talked. WTI, Litecoin, there we go, Litecoin. So to be honest, in a similar fashion as with as Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's also near this upside line. So to be honest, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. However, I just want to mention that 64.68 territory, that's what I'm keeping an eye on for the upside. All this area here is something of a neutral one for me. AUD USD, guys, so beautiful rebound yesterday from this downside line. I talked about this pair and I said that, look, we could see a move back to the upside here. However, we need to see a push above the 0.6977 territory, and so far we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. However, what I am concerned here is I want to see how this level is going to play out. If we're not going to end up seeing like something like of a hold up below this hurdle. Why? Because we could be maybe seeing here a buildup of a bearish flag. So we have our pole, and now we're seeing this little kind of retracement here. And again, let's be a little bit more on the careful side, guys. I don't want to rush into anything here yet. In general, ideally for me, I would actually prefer to wait for a push above this barrier, the 0.7047. However, I do understand that maybe I'll be missing out on a bit of territory here, and we could play this territory, just we need to have our stop losses in place, just in case. Again, you know, in case it reverses sharply back to the downside. And we're coming closer, of course, to the NFP number, which is tomorrow. So yeah, like, be very careful with all the dollar pairs. Speaking of dollar pairs, USD JPY, beautiful retracement here back to the upside. And yeah, so far, as I said before, maybe this is forming a descending triangle. Again, maybe not an ideal one. However, let's if you're looking for some downside still, a drop below this 131.50 territory is needed for me. If you're looking for some higher levels, a break through this downside line would be required, because at the same time we'll be placed above the 21-day EMA, and yep, more buyers could join in. Now, jumping into USD CHF, guys, similar story. To be honest, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but yeah, it's also moving nicely. However, as I mentioned to you yesterday, that look, if it will push higher, my next target is the 100 and the 21-day EMAs. After that, I'm gonna just keep an eye on it, because in general, I don't like these scenarios here, and I don't really. It's very tricky. I mean, we could keep an eye on, let's say, yesterday's high near the 0.9651. If we clear that level, then yeah, we'll go for the upside. We could go further for the upside, but only up until this downside line. So that's kind of the, if you do like such ideas here, okay, you can try to maybe take advantage of it. But if you're like something like more of a medium term, maybe a break of this downside line for the upside, that's what could work out a little bit better here. At the moment, there is still a chance for this one to drift lower, and like I said, NFPs are coming up. GBP JPY, this one, I haven't looked at this for quite a while, but let me get rid of this this upside line and redraw it and put it as a downside one. So long story short, I would say for now I'm looking at this and I'm just observing the price action, because at the moment this is not really picture perfect for me. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to wait for that confirmation breakout, either through this upside line or through this downside one, and then I'll do something about it. But at the moment, it's not really very attractive for me. We are getting a hold up near this inside swing low here, near the 163 territory. We're currently getting a resistance here. Again, can we break this? We can. If we of course, if we do this, then I'll go a little bit higher. But we have the 21-day EMA, which could provide something maybe as a hold up. Again, too many obstacles here, so that's why I'm just waiting for this one. This could end up being quite something nice, so this is maybe something for your watch list for later on. But yeah, like I said, wait for a clear breakout through one of these trend lines. GBP USD. So of course, oh, by the way, back to GBP JPY and in general GBP USD. Watch out for the BOE today, guys. We do have the interest rate decision from the Bank of England, and well, I mean, that is expected also to rise from 1.25 to 1.75, so by 50 basis points. Now it's going to be interesting if we're not going to get a bigger rise. Now that's where it's going to be interesting. So yeah, let's see how all that's going to play out. But for now, looking at GBP USD, as I said before, look, I mean, we have this upside line, which is currently getting kind of a little bit violated, I would say, but not something significant. And they said before that if you want to go lower, then drop below that downside line and below that 21-day EMA would be needed. If you're something a little bit on the cautious side here with the upside, then of course wait for a breakout above this 1.2293 territory. Euro CAD, very, very attractive to the downside, but a confirmation break is still needed, because look how many times, well, we had this last time here a couple of days ago, or should I say last week. We flirted with this 1.3024 territory, and we rebounded and pushed higher. Again, 21-day EMA did its job and provided good resistance. So in other words, we could be seeing something of a descending triangle pattern here. However, if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, wait for that confirmation break. If we do get that, then yes, I will go lower. If we stay below that hurdle, then yes, we're in. And if we're not going to get a false breakout like we had here, if we're going to stay below it, then yes, I'll go further south. And finally, EURUSD, guys, something again that I'm watching carefully, and look at how well this 1.0122 territory played out. So yeah, in a way, for now, everything's looking quite interesting here for the. Could be quite interesting for the sellers, but the fact that this 1.0122 territory is providing good support, that's of course, yeah, it's showing that the bulls are still fighting back. I'm not saying that they might win the battle here, but still at the moment they're fighting back. So I would say at the moment I am just gonna wait this one out. I will wait for my move against here. For example, if I'm looking for some higher levels, then in the near term, in the very, very near term, then yeah, I need to see a break above this 21-day EMA again. If I'm looking for something downside, again, a drop, and I would like to see the pair staying below this 1.0122 territory, and then we could go further south, guys. So that's it for this session. I tried to keep it within my time limits basically. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. Thank you. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, guys. All this is just valuable for me, honestly. I'm really happy that you're joining in. So thank you for your time once again. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.